All right, just gonna do a quick review on a 1994 Chevy 3/4 ton 4x4 with the IFS independent front suspension. And I didn't really know that much about it before I bought it. I didn't do any reviews on the suspension. I know that personally I prefer to just have a straight axle up front, but this thing has the 6.5 turbo diesel. I'm really familiar with those, more the 6.2 like I got there. But the 6.5 is the same casting, so it didn't really freak me out. I know about the cracking in the back and everything like that. But anyways, so I got it and I was pretty excited. My last one was pretty old, so this thing has air conditioning and some other things, power windows, which I didn't have in my other truck. But the first thing that I noticed after I actually got it home and started looking is the front end is wider than the rear end. And I just kept looking at it like, no, that can't be. There's something wrong here. These guys got the wrong wheels on it. There's something wrong. There's no way. Why would the front end be wider than the rear end? I mean, it makes no sense. But you look at it, and sure as shit, the front end is wider than the rear end. It's like, who rubber stamped that at Chevy? Who was like, this, yeah, put it out there. Put it out there. Yep, done. Good. Like the idea, like the concept. Go ahead, market it. How many of these did they make? And the Suburbans are the same. They're all the same. They all have this, the front end sticks out. And if that wasn't bad enough, the turning radius is nothing. I mean, you can't get around shit on this. You lose like a half a wheel turn in either direction with this thing. My 1 ton, my Dana 60 straight axle, I mean, it was normal. You could get around stuff. It turned pretty tight. This thing, you have no turning radius. You can't get around shit. So the fact that, your IFS in the front, you can get over, you got a little more ground clearance there, so I'm sure that's what they were selling it. Hey, look at this. It's more comfortable, it's more nimble, and you got ground clearance, and you can off-road this thing, not like these other trucks. We got a better truck, we can off-road it. Exactly what kind of off-roading are you gonna do when you can't even turn? I mean, just getting out of here around this like little roundabout, man, I gotta do like a 5-point turn to back up and get around things, parking lots, everything. It's just like, I mean, who put this out? Who said, yes, let's run production on this, when they knew they did it. They knew that they lost their turning radius, and they put it out there, and they knew the front end was wider than the rear, and they put it out there. It's like, I cannot believe that they released this truck. I mean, now I know why people do the solid front axle swaps on these. It's just amazing. I cannot believe Chevy released this truck. I'd love to hear an engineer from Chevy tell me why this is a good truck, why this was released. Oh yeah, I was on that project, and it was good. We collaborated, and we really revolutionized this thing and had this IFS. I mean, all the other, the little Japanese trucks and stuff, they all had IFS too, and somehow they got turning radius out of it. I mean, it was like they just took existing parts and put them together and said, well, it doesn't work. Well, okay, well, just decrease the turning radius. Oh, well, the front end, to make the control arms work and all that, we're gonna have to extend them out a little bit, and the CV joints are, turning too far. Well, just make it longer. It's like, well, I mean, holy shit. So, then 6.5, it's like, okay, so it's just a 6.2. They're like, oh, we got electronic injection, 94, first year electronic injection. Yeah, we got the electronic injection, it's great. Well, it's not really electronic injection. Is it common rail? No, it is not common rail. Okay, if it's not common rail, then it really is still just mechanical injection. It's just a little, same as a 6.2, it's just an injector screwed in there. You got your injection pump right here. Yeah, it has a controller, so it can, it's a little more adjustable and everything. Then some genius takes the controller for it and sets it in the hottest spot of the motor, so those things blow up. So this is the relocation kit, you put it over here. then you used to have your vacuum pump back there behind the fuel filter, which, come on, you can put a fuel filter anywhere you want. You can put a fuel filter, but instead they stuck it there so that the old vacuum pump that went right behind that, nope, not there anymore. Where is it? It's down here on the accessory line. Okay, that's great. Well, what is that blocking? The old mechanical injection, not the injection, but the mechanical lifter. Okay, so no more mechanical lifter. So now we have an electronic lifter. Okay, that's not as reliable. That's not near as reliable. And of course, if that fails, then you end up blowing out your injection pump eventually. You should notice that it's gone before you blow it out, but it ain't there. You also get this wussy little turbo that's so wimpy that they don't give you a boost gauge, because let's face it, you don't want to know what it's boosting, because it's going to make you really sad when you get into a Cummins old 12 valve and the thing's, you know, over 20, and you get into this and it's pushing like maybe 10 or maybe a tiny bit more, and no barometer. So why not? Well, because you're not producing any heat, because this thing's not actually pushing anything. You know, you're not gaining a lot of horsepower. You're gaining some horsepower because you went up to a 6.5, but that's about it. So you could change this thing. You could put a boost gauge on it. You could put a pyrometer on it. You could get rid of your little going under the truck crossover bar, which is the most ridiculous thing ever. You gotta go all the way from this side, underneath the truck, back up, hook up onto the other manifold. That is not efficient. You know, even, I mean, on the vans, it's like, okay, so now you got a van, they put a turbo back there on the vans, and that makes sense. It's equal. Each manifold is equal. They're short. They go straight up to the turbo. It's an overhead turbo. You know, it's a van, you know. Then here we got the truck, where you might actually want some efficiency and power, and what do you get? You get the fucking Sidewinder. It's like, are you kidding me? The Sidewinder? Really? I mean, it's a joke. You can change this stuff, like I said. You could go, this is the 94, you know, quote unquote electronic injection, and you could take it out. You could pull it, you know, get rid of this guy, change your electronics out, and you could put a manual one in it, and then you just turn an Allen key and you can turn it up. You know, I'm not going to keep this truck. This is definitely not something that I'd want to fix up. I don't see the point. You know, I could put in the solid front axle, but it's like, give me something to start with here. You're not really giving me a whole lot. If I love this truck, maybe I'd do something with it, but I don't love it. I've had it for a couple weeks. It works, but I don't love it. But like I said, you could put in the manual pump and everything, change your electronics. You could change the way the manifolds work and put a better turbo in it. You know, I got this that I put together, which is just the old 6.2, and I went from one manifold up and over. I didn't really have any equipment to build it, so it's just square tubing, which is not what you want. Too many sharp corners and stuff, but I mean, you get the concept. It goes over the top instead of underneath. You know, and these guys are engineers. It's like they could have done something like more like this and get a little box, collection box, and just make it